Thank you very much for inviting me to come and speak today on the subject of what can the map of medicine do for us locally. I am a GP, a full-time GP, but I'm also a member of the Health Informatics Clinical Advisory Team and the Primary Care IT Lead at NHS North West. And I'm also the map of medicine clinical lead for the Strategic Health Authority. So any of these sorts of issues or any issues that come subsequent to today's meeting, if you have any issues, feel free to contact me. I'd be very happy to come back and discuss further. Just before I start on the map of medicine itself, I just want to introduce the Health Informatics Clinical Advisory Team and its mission statement, which I think will be very relevant to the clinicians in the audience, as well as the managers and patients, if there are any in the group. We as a team work across the complete healthcare spectrum, ensuring that people of the North West enjoy better care, better health and a better life. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to try and focus on. Better care, better health, better life through the innovative and efficient use of information technology. How do we try to do that? Well, there's 7 points there, really. We want to ensure that the North West leads the country in terms of setting a regional structure of expert clinicians for championing the use of IT. We're very keen to involve clinicians in getting to understand how the IT that's being deployed already helps you rather than the other way around. We want to engage and empower clinicians to enable them to play a very central role in the development and deployment of IT systems and solutions. And again, it's back to clinicians working to ensure for you and not forced upon you. We want to reduce the IT-related bureaucratic and administrative mess. I kind of like that word mess that clinicians find themselves in at the moment. You will do this. Well, why? Let's talk about how we can change it around. And assess and promote the piloting and implementation of new-to-the-market information technology. This is an example of the map of medicine. Is it useful? Isn't it? How can we make it useful? It's again back to we want to ensure this provides benefits for the clinicians on the ground, including in the drug misuse service or whatever. By the way, I also work in the drug misuse service, so I'll be able to talk a little bit about that too. Ensure organisations use systems that are interoperable, i.e. we don't just want a standalone, we want to try and ensure that it fits in with all the other clinical systems that we already have. Ensure that the health informatics is embedded into the undergraduate and postgraduate training. It's really important that whatever training is going on, either within your own department or organisation, or more broadly if you're involved in things that the Royal College are doing, ask the question, are we looking at IT and how it helps support what the aims and objectives of the organisation are? And then put patients at the heart of health informatics by empowering, educating and enabling them to make informed decisions about their own health through accessing personal and clinical information. So that's a little bit about the HiCAT. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what are the benefits of incorporating the map of medicine for you in the locality, actually using the map of medicine and some of my own experience inside a consultation, perhaps going beyond the consulting room and starting to think about how the map might be able to support care, and then finally how it supports the QIP agenda and improving quality and reducing total cost to the local health community. Okay, so what are the benefits? And I'm sorry if you can't see the slides from the back there, but I'll just go through them one by one. What are the benefits of incorporating the map of medicine? Ultimately, what we're trying to achieve is improve quality of care and at the same time try and reduce costs so that overall there's a greater efficiency, there's greater productivity and so on. One of the most difficult areas as a clinician is not where you know what to do, it's where you don't quite know what to do. And you're sort of scratching your head and you're thinking, what tests do I need to do? What do I need to think about? Are there any other things I need to consider that I haven't thought about? Uncertainty, and each clinician has their own area of uncertainty. It's that uncertainty that leads to increased costs because we're not sure what to do. You end up offering either further appointments, say come back and see me again, or doing tests you're not quite sure, let's just do a battery of tests to see what happens and maybe something might come back. And that's often where increased costs start to happen. So actually by looking at the map, it's starting to say to us, actually, these are the kinds of things that you might want to consider when you're assessing a patient that's in front of you with that particular condition. By doing that, it actually makes the whole process safer because we're now starting to see the broader picture. And if there are things that we haven't considered, if we have, we just move on, we don't need it. If we know what we're doing, you don't need to use the map. But if you're not quite sure and you're a little bit uncertain, it's starting to say, consider these 3 or 5 things. And by doing that, it makes the whole thing safer. Not only that, but because it's telling us what the evidence base is for that particular area, it starts us to become effective. So instead of us starting to say, oh, I think this might be a good idea. We're starting to say, well, the evidence base says these are the 5 treatments that work. And so we're starting to think about how do we use those things that we know work rather than things that we might not be so sure about. And again, it's in that area of uncertainty where this matters. If you're certain, if you've been to a conference and heard the latest research and you now know and you are certain that this is more appropriate, it's not stopping you from doing that. But if you're not sure, if you're uncertain, it starts to say, well, maybe you should think about these sorts of treatments or this course of action that might be able to help. As a consequence of that, and again, I've been using the map now for 2 years, what I've found is that whereas at the start I'm uncertain, I'm starting to become more confident in what I'm doing because I know that I'm using the map to help me guide me in those areas where I'm not so sure about. So that my own experience, when you go home, lie down in bed and put your head against the pillow, you feel more comfortable that I've done the right thing. Not only that, but I've also found that when I'm sat with patients showing them the map, not only am I feeling more confident and a better experience for me, but the patient who's sat in with me, who's also looking at what I'm using, is also starting to feel more comfortable and also feeling that, yes, this clinician has actually given me advice that seems to fit in with evidence-based medicine. And ultimately, what that leads to is that there's less variability. You find that if across a local health community, those people that are uncertain in that particular area, you'll start to find that there's less variability in what they're doing. And as a result of that less variability, more people doing the right thing, and as a result of them doing more of the right thing, reduced cost because of wastage, because of inappropriate use of resources or whatever it might be. Whether that's time or whether that's in terms of investigations or in terms of going off on a tangent because you think it might be a good idea. Okay, so, what about inside the consultation? How am I using it? Well, this is where I want to bring the concept of the third expert. By the way, does anyone know who the first and second experts are? Yeah, absolutely. The patient is an expert in terms of the symptoms and the problems that they're facing and how it's affecting them. And then hopefully the clinician is the expert in terms of that particular condition, what the NHS provides, the local experience and so on. But now I want to turn around and say, well, what could the third expert, that computer screen, the systems, the data, the information, the map of medicine, help support the 2 other experts? And I'd like to try and play a video for you and see if it works.